What is castle garden? Castle gardens are a unique kind of garden that can be found around castle forts. Castle garden has existed since the Middle Ages, such as the medieval ages. Castle garden has evolved into many uses, from purely utilitarian now into aesthetic enjoyment. There are many kinds of castle garden, such as Renaissance garden, medieval garden, Baroque garden, and English landscape garden. Now, history of castle gardens. For the medieval gardens, in the 9th to 12th centuries, gardens were created purely for utilities and functionality purposes, including kitchens, infirmary gardens, cemeteries, orchards, and vineyards. Usually, vineyards provide herbs, crop yields, and medicinal alignments. The gardens were laid out in rectangular paths with narrow paths in between for collecting crops. These garden beds are protected by basic fencing and wattle fence. In the later stages of medieval gardens, text, art, and literacy works provide features of development for the castle gardens. The text clarifies that these gardens were surrounded with stone walls, thick hedges, and fencing created by trellises and arbors. Grass are also considered in medieval gardens. In the De Vegetable of Albertus Magnus, written around 1260, instructions are given for planting grass plots.
For the next type is a Renaissance garden. This type of garden started in Italy during the 15th century. It was very different from the gardens before it. Instead of being used just to grow fruits or herbs, Renaissance gardens were made to look beautiful and show off the owner's wealth and style. One of the main features was symmetry. That means both sides of the garden looked the same. The path, plants, and decorations were all placed in a neat and balanced way. Water was also very important. People added fountains, ponds, or small streams to make the garden feel peaceful and cool. There were also statues, hedges, and stone walkways. This made the garden feel more like a piece of art. Everything was carefully planned to look elegantly. In the end, Renaissance gardens were placed to relax, enjoy nature, and show beauty and power. They weren't just gardens, they were like outdoor art galleries. For the next, we have Baroque gardens. Baroque gardens first appeared in the 1600s, mostly in Italy and France. They were created to be bold, beautiful, and impressive, not just for fun, but to show power and control. Unlike earlier gardens, Baroque gardens were huge. Designers would level the land, cut down the trees, and reshape nature just to create perfect views from the palace. They had long, straight paths and symmetrical designs. Also, neat flower beds. Water was a big feature too, with fountains, canals, and pools carefully placed to add movement and sound. These gardens were like outdoor stages, meant to impress guests and show how powerful the owner was. One of the most famous examples is the Garden of the Versailles in France. Even today, Baroque gardens remind us how people use art and nature together to tell a story of beautiful order and status. Next is modern gardens. Modern gardens are very different from older like the Renaissance styles. Today, people want their gardens to be simple, easy to use, and connected to their lifestyle. Instead of fancy statues or complex designs, modern gardens focus on clean lines and open spaces. People often include things like patios, outdoor seating, or even kitchens to enjoy time outside with friends and family. The colors are usually calm and not too bright. Plants are chosen to match the simple styles and outdoor with friends and family. And are often easy to take out of. Even though they are simpler, modern gardens still help us to relax, connect with nature, and enjoy peaceful moments. Some castle gardens today have been redesigned with a modern look while still keeping their historical charm. So in short, modern gardens are all about comfort, beauty, and fitting in the way we live today.
Next, there are a few components of castle garden such as fountain, turf seat, trellises, and walkways. After that, garden types in castle. Firstly, we have kitchen gardens. Kitchen gardens is a garden beds with a wide range of unusual ornamental fruits and vegetables are grown. Complementary, planting create flash of color amid the green vegetables. edible flowers, increase the diversity and ornamental value of the beds. Secondly, we have a vineyard or orchards, usually as a part of a larger building, such as castle garden and as agriculture activities like orchards, often used as a wine's production and are sometimes used to enhance the visitor experience at the castle.
Next is Pleasance Garden, which refers to a pleasure garden or parkland associated with a castle. It is typically created for leisure, hunting and culinary enjoyment for the nobility. The style of pleasure garden starts during the late medieval and Renaissance periods of this castle garden. It showcases power, culture and refinement of the castle owner, and also use geometric shapes as its design language. Next is the formal garden, which use the design elements such as balance, symmetry and straight lines. It always associated with stately home, palaces and civil gardens. Formal garden can be created in any space, be it large or small, or even in front of your gates. It also usually create with geometrical shapes. Next is the types of plant in castle garden, which there are two types of plants. Is ornamental plants or vegetable and herbaceous plants. The ornamental plants are usually used during the Renaissance gardens and Baroque gardens due to its aesthetic values. So an example of this plant is Betony, Twin Spur, Mountain Sandwort, Germany Iris, Golden Chamomile, and Sea Holly. And the other one is the vegetable and herbaceous plants, which is mainly planted during the medieval garden period. So as an example is the lavender, thyme, matricaria, rosemary, and mint. Lastly, in conclusion, castle garden have come a long way from their humble beginnings. What started as practical spaces for growing fruit and medicine in the medieval garden gradually turned into something that are created purely for aesthetic reason. Over time, this garden has become more than just a place to grow plants. It has become a place to relax or doing cultural exchange. Today, many of these gardens are preserved not just for their beauty, but the rich history they provide. Modern design also much more simpler and more functional, but the heart of this castle garden as spaces where nature and people meet still remains.